All right, we're going to be multiplying polynomials by monomials today. So quick review, let's just look back at our distributive property that you've dealt with before. So in this case, I have a monomial on the outside, and I'm going to multiply it by a polynomial, and in this case, a binomial, right? Two terms. And before using the distributive property, we simply take the w and we multiply it by each term. So w times 3w. And w times that positive 8 there. And when we go ahead and do that, we end up with 3w to the second plus 8w. Yeah, I think we're all familiar with that. That's basically all we're going to be doing, except it's just going to be some a lot more variables, bigger polynomials. So it gets a little bit confusing if you lose track of things. So let's take a look at an example here. So I have a monomial on the outside, my negative 3p to the fourth r to the third, all multiplication there. And I want to multiply that entire monomial to this polynomial. Okay? And it's just like the distributive property. I know there's a lot of information there, but we're just distributing. So if I take a look, I'm going to distribute this negative 3p to the fourth r to the third to my first term. That 2p to the second r to the fourth. Well, I'm just multiplying everything, right? So multiply things that are the same. So I'm going to multiply my numbers first and take my negative 3 times negative 3 times 2 to give me a negative 6. And then I have a p to the fourth times a p to the second. We'll simplify that after a little bit. And I have an r to the third times an r to the fourth. Okay? So I just distributed that, my monomial on the outside to that first term. And I'll go ahead and I'll simplify that right away here. And I get negative 6. Remember, same base, I can just add their exponents. So p to the 6th, r to the 7th. Okay, so I'm done with the first part. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to distribute that monomial to my second term. And remember, this is a negative 6p to the 6th, r to the third. So same thing, do your coefficients first. Do the negative 3 times the negative 6. And you get a positive 18. That's why I use that plus sign, because I got a positive 18. Now you got a p to the fourth times a p to the sixth, and an r to the third times an r to the third. And let's go ahead and simplify that. Plus 18, well, p to the 10th, right, add my exponents, and r to the 6th. Okay? And lastly, distribute it to the final term of that negative 5. So negative 3 times negative 5 gives me a positive 15. And then I don't have anything to multiply my p's and my r's with, so I just bring those with. P to the fourth, r to the third. And that is already simplified, so I just bring it down. And then when I get to this point, it's usually simplified only unless there's like terms that we can combine. So if I look, here I got a term of p to the 6th, r to the 7th. So I don't have any other terms that have a p to the 6th and the r to the 7th, right? Because this is the p to the 10th, r to the 6th. This is the p to the 4th, r to the 3rd. So they're not like terms, so it's simplified. So that would be my final answer, right? So if I would have ended up with something like 4x to the second, y to the third, plus 6x to the second, y to the third. In this case, these are like terms, right? They're both x to the second, y to the thirds. So I have to combine their coefficients, 4 plus a 6. And I would combine that into a 10x squared y to the third, right? Because it's the same thing if you had just like 4x plus 6x, right? That becomes 10x. Well, the term is x squared y cubed, so that's why that would work that way, okay? So just make sure you got to look for like terms. Oh, that's a big one. All right, so you just got to break it down step by step. So if I look, I have 15m, I have a monomial times this polynomial. And then over on the other side, I have another monomial, a negative 2y times that polynomial, that binomial. Okay, so you just got to do each one separately. So I'm going to deal with that 15m first. So we got to distribute it to my first term. So let's multiply those coefficients. 15 times 10 for 150. Then I have m times, well, let's see, m to the 5th would give me m to the 6th. And no y's to multiply, so I still have a y to the 3rd. There's that first part. And then I got to distribute to the next term. So let's go ahead and multiply our coefficients. 15 times 5 to give us 75. And m squared, right? M times m. M times an m there. And then just bring my y squared down. Okay, so I'm done with the first part. Now I got to go distribute my negative 2y. So negative 2y times ym squared. So no coefficient to multiply with my negative 2, so I just say negative 2. And I got a y squared and an m squared. We usually put the letter that comes first in the alphabet, so I'm going to say m squared y squared. Right? Doesn't really make that big of a difference, but that's what we usually do. And then multiply it to my last term. So negative 2 times 4, right? Multiply your coefficients for a negative 8. And y times a y squared for a y cubed. Okay, each term is simplified. So if I look at my entire polynomial, all I got to look for is like terms. So I look m to the 6th, y to the 3rd. I don't have any more of those. M to the 2nd, y to the 2nd. Well, looks like I got one, right? I got another one of those. So I got to combine those two. Those are like terms. So I'm going to bring down my 150, m to the 6th, y to the 3rd. Now I got to combine these two. I have 75 of those m to the 2nd, y to the 2nds, and then I have negative 2 of them. So I basically just combine their coefficients. So 75 minus 2 gives me 73 of those m squared, y squareds. And then bring down my minus 8y cubed. Now there are no more like terms, so it is simplified. So the biggest thing, we're just distributing, right, using our distributive property. You just got to take it step by step. Don't lose things, right? Keep it nice and order, and don't forget to combine like terms in the end, just like I had to do here. Right? I had like terms. I had both of them, m to the 2nd, y to the 2nd, m to the 2nd, y to the 2nd. So don't forget to combine those like terms to look for that. And just like up top, I have that negative 2y that I had to distribute. Right? Don't forget about that minus sign in front that you have to distribute. Okay, that's all I got for you today. Good luck.